With the recent downturn in the stock market, find out what I'm doing so that I keep earning an income. With inflation running high and the stock market reacting by dropping down so low, I'm making plans to change my strategic approach to option trading. And this is because I just don't know how long this down market is going to last, but I still want to execute my option trades, in particular the wheel strategy, and make some extra profit along the way. And the extra profit is above and beyond what I would get in stock price appreciation and collected premiums. So what exactly am I planning to do, and how does this change my option trading strategy? The good news is, all the basics of my simple option trading strategy are still applicable. So I'm still selling option contracts. I like to use stable companies as the underlying stock, and those companies have good fundamentals and future growth potential. And what's different is I've added a new requirement. When I'm researching and identifying stocks or ETFs that I can use as the underlying component of my option contracts, my goal is to identify the ones that pay dividends. Some of you may be asking, why am I doing this? Well, given the current market conditions and the uncertainty for how long it might actually last, I wanted to employ an option trading strategy that'll help keep me afloat by stabilizing my income. And so by doing so, I'm going to give up some volatility and the higher premiums that go along with it. But in return, I'm going to be focusing on growth stocks that offer price appreciation as well as the premiums, plus the additional benefit of collecting the dividend payments, while I'm holding the stock as part of executing a wheel strategy. I realize that I may have caught some of you off guard, and you may be asking yourself, well, what are dividend and what are dividend paying stocks? Well, let me take a few moments and explain. Many option traders either forget or don't consider the fact that they can collect dividends from the stocks they hold in their portfolio. If you're not sure what stock dividends are, I'll give a brief explanation. But if you are familiar, you can skip ahead about 2 minutes so that you can find out immediately about the option trading dividend strategy. So if we're going to take a look at what a company can do with their profits, first let me set the scene. We've got a fictitious company here called ABC Incorporated. And this company has some owners. And these owners, or shareholders, they invest in this company. And as investors, they're a partial owner of the company, and they own shares of stock. Now, some people may own as little as one share, and some other people obviously will hold more than one share. The important point here is that these shareholders are all considered owners of the company. Now, as the company does business and they begin to prosper, selling their products and services, they're going to start collecting money. So they'll start collecting money, which is their revenue. And once they pay their expenses, whatever's left over is considered their profits. And so what can they do with their profits? So number one, they could save the profits for an emergency, right? They could just take the money, the extra cash that they have, put it in the bank, and let it sit there in case something comes up and they have it available to use. What else can a company do with their profits? Well, they can invest the money, they can invest the profits back into the company. Whether they open more sites or hire more employees, or maybe they buy new equipment, new hardware, new software, tools, whatever they need for the company. So this is putting money back into the company so the company can grow even further. And then the third thing that a company could do with their profits is they could take a portion of those profits and pay them to the shareholders. This is what's known as dividends. So paying some of the profits to the owners, these shareholders, is what's known as paying dividends to the shareholders. So the next thing to talk about is how the dividends get paid out, right? So it's how much to pay in dividends. Well, that largely depends on the profitability of the company. And the board will decide how profitable they are and how much of those profits they're going to distribute to the shareholders as dividends. So for example, they may decide that the shareholders are going to receive $1 per share. So the person that owns one share would receive $1, and the person that owns 10 shares, well, they'll get $10. So then the next question is, when do the dividends get paid? What I typically see is that dividends are paid either monthly, quarterly, or annually. And a lot will depend on the company, how they've structured their operation. And once they've set that in place, it's on a fairly rigid schedule of when they will pay dividends. A really simple method of finding out when a company pays dividends is to head on over to Yahoo Finance. And then type in the stock symbol of the company that you're interested in. So I typed in HRZN, which is the symbol for Horizon Technology Finance Corporation. And what I'm looking for then is the section titled Ex-Dividend Date. We can see that here. This date is extremely important for our purposes because the shareholders of record that hold the stock on that date will be the ones that are qualified to receive the dividend payment. So for this example, if you acquire the stock on April 18th, the day before the ex-dividend date, You hold on to the stock through the 19th, and then you immediately sell it on the 20th. Even though you only hold the stock for that short period, you still qualify to receive the dividend payment. Now let's get into the strategy of how we can leverage this for our option trading. Let me share with you an example of a dividend-paying stock that I hold in my portfolio. I can use it to write covered calls against and collect premiums, and while I'm holding on to it, I collect dividends every quarter. Here's a daily chart for stock symbol NLY, going back to May of 2020. The price for this stock has had its ups and downs over the past year, but overall, this stock is up over 55% from 1 year ago today. So my plan during uncertain times is to purposely hold stocks that pay dividends. Now, by holding those stocks, I can use them to sell out-of-the-money covered calls, where each time I sell the covered call option contract, I collect premiums. And then additionally, because I am holding these stocks for a longer duration, I also collect the dividend payments that go along with them. Now, because I hold this stock over a longer period of time, I'm able to collect the dividend payments that come to me simply because I own the shares. And as we look at the daily chart, you can see where I get the dividend payments every quarter. Here in June, then again in September, another time in December, and then again at the end of March. And this dividend payment pattern repeats every year. Based upon the profitability and growth of the company, I was able to receive 22 cents per share during each of these dividend payments. And because I owned 100 shares, that meant I received $22 for every dividend payment. From an income perspective, I'm the first one to admit that collecting $88 per year in dividends isn't going to make or break me, but it is a positive benefit from holding stocks when conditions are less than ideal. Plus, it's nice to get the extra bump when I'm holding and trading stocks as part of a wheel strategy. Industry analysts give stock symbol NLY a 1-year price target of a low of $8.50, a 1-year high price target of $10, and a 1-year average price target of $9.44. If you like this video and the information I shared, do me a huge favor and smash the like button. Let's take a quick look at this stock on Yahoo Finance. So we can see that it closed today at $8.99 per share. It's got an average trading volume of 13.9 million shares, with a market cap of $12.5 billion. Its beta value is 1.3, which is the measure of volatility relative to the S&P 500, and you can see the annual yield is 10.02%. Based on this information, I feel fine owning this stock for a longer period and using it to sell deep out of the money covered calls and collecting premiums, while at the same time collecting dividend payments every quarter. If you're interested in finding out more about how to generate a monthly paycheck from dividends, be sure to check out my free cheat sheet where I show the technique that I use to generate a monthly paycheck using dividend-paying stocks. This cheat sheet is a free download that you can access by visiting my website, simpleoptiontrading.com. If you like the information about my stock picks, then consider joining my Patreon, where I share exclusive videos of my stock picks every week that I'm going to be using for profitable trades. I also include my research notes, stock analysis, and trading strategies for every stock I pick to watch for that week. And of course, all my videos posted on my Patreon are ad-free. If you're still watching this video, I just want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I also want to wish you good luck and lots of success with all of your trades.